All right, guys, last reading for Act 1. So we start off with Reverend Hale getting here, and he was the gentleman who comes from another town to try and check up to see if Betty is actually bewitched. So he's an important character because he is going to help decide if the devil is in her. Um, Giles Corey is kind of in this because uh, he's just trying to get information from Hale. At one point, Giles even, um, or Giles, however you want to say it, I say Giles, but he even admits that he thinks that his wife might be possessed by the devil because she be reading some books, and he don't like that, which kind of reflects the time period since women were not supposed to be educated and they were not supposed to be reading things. So he does kind of mention that. Um, we get into talking, or they all get into talking, and Hale is surprised to discover that Paris's niece and his daughter were dancing. He says, Paris, you permit dancing? And Paris says, no, it were a secret. And so it's kind of surprising to him, which is going good for the Putnams since they don't really like Paris. Rebecca talks about how she again thinks that this is all just silly and that there's no witchcraft, and Mrs. Putnam gets upset again, and she yells, Rebecca, I'll have you not judge me anymore. Is it natural to lose 7 children before they even live a day? Um, and basically she just can't get over the fact that she's lost all these children, but Rebecca has so many, so she's quite jealous of that. They start talking about what they're going to do um, to try to wake Betty. And Reverend Hale's talking to Betty. He explains to her, I am John Hale, minister of Beverly. I've come to help you. And he's talking directly to Betty. And they find out quickly that Abigail was part of the dancing. They question her, and Abigail says, common dancing, that's all, and that we ate soup. And we find out that Reverend Paris actually caught them dancing, and that's what happened, is he walked up on them dancing and Betty passed out. So Abigail talks about that they were dancing naked and drinking soup, that they had put some things in that soup, and they're all kind of shocked at all of this. Abigail then throws Tituba under the bus as she talks about how Tituba was the one conjuring the spirits. And they talk about this soup, and they ask Abby if she drank it, and then they start blaming Tituba about this. Abigail gets really frustrated because she doesn't want to get caught, and she says, I never sold myself. I'm a good girl. I'm a proper girl. And then Mrs. Putnam enters with Tituba, and Abigail points at her and says, she made me do this, and she made Betty do this, which, let's be real, Tituba's an easy target since she was or is a slave and obviously is of colored descent, unlike the white people in this play. Abigail yells, she made me drink blood, and Tituba says, I gave her chicken blood, and Tituba says she does not truck with the devil. You go on and on here for a while. They say that she's laughed at prayer. Abigail's in this big old thing now where she's trying to tell everyone that Tituba is the reason and has been the reason and influences her. And she says that she laughs at prayer, and Tituba says that she begs her to conjure. It's this big old mess. Basically, Abigail is making up excuses because she doesn't want to get in trouble, so she's blaming it all on her slave. Eventually, they turn to Tituba and start blaming her and saying that she's bewitched. And Tituba has nothing better to do besides lie and say, fine, I was with the devil, I saw the devil, but I don't want to be bad anymore, so let me just admit who in this town is also working with the devil, and then that'll prove to you that I don't want to be with the devil anymore. And so Mrs. Putnam starts throwing out names like did you see Sarah with the devil? And she's just trying to obviously plant seeds so Tituba will say the names. Tituba talks to Reverend Hale and says that the devil wanted her to kill Mr. Paris, but she said no. Finally, they get down to it, where she starts naming names, and Abigail stands up and says, I too have seen the devil, but I don't want to be part of this, so I'll tell you names too. And the two of them start spouting out names. Miraculously, Betty wakes up and she starts yelling out names, so that way the three of them are completely exonerated and have nothing to do with the devil anymore. However, they've listed several women in town who they claim are working with the devil and are now under direct suspicion of Reverend Hale. Everybody thinks this is a wonderful thing that happened, and they've solved all the problems, and now, as you guessed it, they probably will go after all of those women in the town. So as you can see, it's very easy in this time to point blame and point fingers at people, try to charge people with doing the devil's work, and there's a lot of people doing things that are considered illegal or immoral in the Puritan towns, but then once they get caught, they blame it on somebody else. And that is Act 1, and you will be taking a quiz over Act 1, so hopefully you have your journal entries all set, and you understand what's going on with the characters, and I will be back with you soon. Have a great day.